In just a few days, another chapter in the gradual abandonment of HF frequencies by government and commercial users will have been written. On January 31, 2017, Radio Australia and the ABC's internal Northern Territory service will cease transmitting on HF.
Shortwave radio. Diana Damjanovic reports.
Bill Shorten has today released a statement saying he's deeply concerned about the ABC's lack of consultation before axing the 100-year-old shortwave radio service in the Northern Territory. The decision has attracted criticism, including from those who argue it will deprive people in remote areas of vital emergency warnings. Mr. Shorten says that shortwave listeners have been unequivocal in voicing their concern at the government's failure to intervene, and he's calling for Malcolm Turnbull to urgently work with the Labor Party, ABC management and those affected before the service is cut on the 1st of February.
Listeners will now be expected to either invest in a satellite receiving system, tune in via the internet somehow, or rely on retransmissions from local FM broadcast stations, which typically only have a limited range.
After the 31st of January, Radio Australia will no longer broadcast in shortwave. You can still hear Radio Australia through local partner stations, including SIBC in Solomon Islands on 10:35 AM and 96.3 FM, and via the Australia Plus Expats app and the ABC Radio app. For more information, visit the Ways to Listen page at radioaustralia.net.au.
Radio Australia probably reached its high point in the 1980s and 1990s. There are transmitters at various parts of Australia and a wide range of frequencies, giving worldwide coverage. There are cuts in the late 1990s which cause its focus to be reduced to just the Asia-Pacific area. Just for background, Radio Australia was the international service of the ABC. It used to have its own programs, but cuts ensured that, generally speaking, ABC domestic programs were also aired on Radio Australia. Then there is the ABC's internal Northern Territory service. This actually covered a lot further than the NT, particularly at night. It was particularly useful for remote communities and travellers, and was especially important when there were weather warnings, cyclones, floods, etc.
Minor flood warning for the Lower Daly River today. Sunny in the southern Simpson and southeast Exeter districts.
Even longer ago, the ABC had shortwave services in other capital cities, like Perth and Melbourne. Gradually they were pruned back, so that only the ABC's Northern Territory service remained. Nevertheless, the Northern Territory services provided Australia-wide coverage, particularly at night, using frequencies in the 2 to 5 MHz range. Keep watching this video for a few snippets taken from Radio Australia and the ABC's Northern Territory service a few days before they went off the air.
Long spin bowling, all batsmen blomipala. Hamas only can manage him long. Is our group B, yeah, you black out South Africa, Pakistan, Bangladesh, the Scotland only got good spin bowling, bowlers long. All women blomipala can manage long, control him all the time only bowling more spin bowlers long.
Yes, abstract. Full blomipala, one left.
Feel welcome again in his own party.
What I was referring to in that interview is the fact that we have a politics now that is causing spiritual harm in Americans' lives.
Michael, we worked on the religious outreach for the Obama White House, and that's where we end the program for this week. You can download our stories from our homepage on the RN website and subscribe to the podcast. Thanks to producer Nadia Delgorley and sound engineer Simon Branthwaite. I'm Andrew West. I'm back next week.
Sunday morning. Join Australia all over.
We'll talk about all sorts of things this morning. You'll meet lots of people, as usual. And I'd love to talk to you. If you're around the world, wherever you are, I'd love to talk to you.
Say g'day and start your day with Macca.
I've been trying to call for the past 3 years now, and I thought I've finally got through.
And remember, if you missed the show, you can hear it again online. Just search Australia all over.
G'day, this is Macca.
Good morning, mate. How you going, mate?
Join Macca every Sunday morning.
Come along, right here on Radio Australia. And it wasn't only the media's fault. You'll hear from the man who ran Barack Obama's successful outreach to religious communities. He reveals how Hillary Clinton blew it with people of faith.
Around a third of Australians live outside a capital city. From beach shores to salt lakes, vineyards to cattle stations, mining sites to snowfields. I'm Ruth Archer, and each week I'll harvest the very best stories from rural Australia to share with you. Our reporters meet some surprising characters in unexpected places.
With tomato.
A big country. Coming up after the news on Radio Australia.
Now, she's joked about her unpronounceable last name and says, just call me Gladys. But the new Premier of New South Wales, Gladys Berejiklian, is a pioneer, and not just because she's the first Liberal woman to hold the job. She's part of Australia's small but successful Armenian community.
We are going against the international trend of nationalism coming back, a narrow interpretation of nationalism. It shows that Australia is a mature, multicultural, inclusive society.
Uniquely placed to discuss matters of importance with the United States.
Bankrupt former mining magnate Nathan Tinkler has lost his bid to fly to the US for a job interview in New York and a reunion with his children in Hawaii. The trustee of his bankrupt estate has denied him permission to travel overseas, alleging he had not given a full account of his finances. A body found in a Sydney shopping centre has been identified as that of missing Tasmanian man Bernard Gore. Edith Bevan has more.
The body was discovered in a stairwell at the Bondi Junction Westfield Shopping Centre about 8:30 this morning. 71-year-old Mr Gore had been in Sydney visiting his daughter. Mr Gore, who had dementia, hadn't been seen since he set out to walk about 1.5 kilometres from Ulara to the shopping centre 3 weeks ago. Where it is today, were it not for the United States.
That's a message meant to our new president, who scuttled a big partnership 8 years and seconds to destroy.
Great thing for the American worker, what we just did.
And there are clearly concerns the new administration's threats to confront Beijing over its South China Sea territorial claims could...
Al-Shabaab has focused its attacks on military posts or places frequented by politicians in an aim to destabilize the internationally backed government of Somalia.
To sport and in tennis, 9th seed Rafael Nadal has made a strong start in his Australian Open semi-final against 15th seed Grigor Dimitrov. The Spaniard took the first set 6-3. It's 4-3 in the second with games on serve. The winner will take on Roger Federer in the final. Brisbane a shower or two, 29. Sydney partly cloudy tomorrow, 30. Canberra mostly sunny, 36. Melbourne sunny and 26. Hobart a possible afternoon shower, 24. Adelaide sunny, the top of 32. Perth sunny, a top of 48. And a shower or two and a possible storm forecast for Darwin and a top of 33. ABC News.
Welcome again to A Big Country, the program where we take you out and about into regional Australia.
At the end of Vietnam, and now it's life or death here on the land.
Look at the lovely shiny grass there as well, it's fantastic.
I bet you've been out shining it this morning.
No, I'm obsessed with grass.
He turns the ones that are struggling into lovingly restored traditional boozers that focus on community spirit, where the book club feels just as comfortable coming for coffee.
It's a plan that could make America expensive and uncompetitive again.
Meanwhile, the Foreign Minister has cautioned the United States against stepping back from the Asia-Pacific region. Julie Bishop said the majority of countries would prefer the US call the shots rather than other unnamed governments. Phil Williams reports from Canberra.
It's the urgent challenge facing every country, how to interact with and influence the Trump view of the world. Speaking on American turf, Australia's Foreign Minister said our region needs the US to step up, not ship out.
Plans for shortwave radio. Diana Damjanovic reports.
Bill Shorten has today released a statement saying he's deeply concerned about the ABC's lack of consultation before axing the 100-year-old shortwave radio service in the Northern Territory.
Australia Day. Now, speaking of Australia, we're going to be chatting with Australia's local hero for 2017, Victorian mum and gun fundraiser, Vicky Jelly, who's been awarded for all of her really big, great efforts to raise awareness around cancer. Lachlan Lung is going to be coming in to ward off the evil spirits for the beginning of my evenings on Fridays and Saturday nights here at ABC Radio. Now it's almost time for this.
Play the quiz. Call now. 1300 222 702.
That's right. It's 1300 222 702 to play the quiz. Iron and wine. Is that some great system? And scramblers. I'm Christina Moon, and you're at ABC Radio in the moment with the joined by Claudia Carrington.
I knew they'd have to come to me, and I don't have a clue.
I don't think I would have got this one, but if I did give myself, if I got the clue, there are ranges named after this chap, I might have got the answer. We've got Tom. You're calling from Delaware in USA. Well, why not? Why not have somebody from Delaware? How are you going, Tom?
I'm hanging in there. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Now, would you know much about Australia?
A little bit.
Okay, well, before we get there, I just wanted to find out what your lunar sign is.
Well, it's, year of the rooster.
Oh, wow, so this is your year, Tom.
Yep.
Look, we're looking forward to speaking to the curator of the Lunar New Year Festival, Claudia Chan Shaw, for the city.
After I saw this, I came home and immediately watched the trailer again because I just wanted to kind of be watching it again already.
Drivers and pilots, they don't have to do that anymore. You're on Evenings with me, Christina Anu, and I'm speaking with Angel Flight CEO Marjorie Pagani, and we're talking about the wonderful not-for-profit charity with the volunteer drivers and pilots who help very sick people who aren't able to get themselves from the country to their specialist appointments in the city. Marjorie, who's behind this?
Active every day, because what we call getting involved in activities and so on, that less than 50% of the time involved in sports practice or games or phys ed classes, they're actually moving enough to be considered to be truly active. And I think with 1 in 3 children being overweight and obese in the US, for example, or we would assume similar in most developed countries, and the fact that, and I think this is what I really want to emphasise why this topic.
There you go. So this is John Arthur, ladies and gentlemen. Walk bravely across Australia from the tip, from up Bambiga Way, right across down to southwest of Western Australia, and then walk up to Perth. And when did you get home, John? You're back in Geelong. Yeah, about 10 days ago. It's all a little bit of work up on the door, things like that. So, how long did it take you, John? How long? Ladies and gentlemen, Adrian's, he's not old, but he's not young. He's not 20-year-old, but he still gets there. Really brought me out down with it'll be a kind of bloke now going back to work in the kitchen, preparing food, mate.
On 783 ABC Alice Springs.
It's sunrise on the Cooper. It's morning at Malay. They're listening at Lismore. The Mac's on the air. There's boomers out at Bondi and surfers on the sand. The crocodiles are crossing the swamps of Arnhem Land. The
truckies on the Nullarbor are listening as they drive, as Macca and his callers will bring the day alive. A slice of toast at Townsville, a glass of wine at Clare, and what a cheerful breakfast when Macca's on the air. They could be sailing around the coast, watching whales, making toast, surveying coral reefs, or picking citrus. Driving, listening, nodding, smiling, net phoning, and mobiling, dialing up Australia on Sunday morning.
South Africa has thrashed Sri Lanka by 8 wickets in their opening one-day international in Port Elizabeth. Now looking at the weather, minor flood warning for the Lower Daly River today. Sunny in the southern Simpson and southeast Exeter districts. In Darwin today, a shower or two and a possible storm. A top of 33 is forecast. And in Alice Springs, mostly sunny and a very warm 40. Currently in Darwin and in Alice Springs, it's 24, it's 26 in Tennant Creek, 25 in Catherine and Jabiru, and 26 at Baralina. To our main story again, some travellers have been turned back from US-bound flights following the US President's sweeping ban on people from 7 Muslim-majority countries from entering America. ABC News. Rowan Barwick.
Very good afternoon, and in fact a happy new year to Tom Petrovsky. Tom, how's it going?
I think we're just managing to get by the statute of limitations on that.
Yeah, no, I think if it's the first time and it's still January, I think you're okay.
Mystery or a puzzle, and is it really a healthy thing to be doing? As I said, most of the characters we look at sign it down on their luck. They're in desperate places, and that's one of the tenets of film noir, which is people doing desperate activities in dark times, and generally speaking, one of the rules of film noir is that it's not going to end well for them.
ABC Radio. I'm Rihanna Patrick, and it's Sound and Visual Delay at Sinclair tonight, and we're taking a look at those mystery films, whether they end the way that you want them to. Maybe you didn't see the end coming like...
To temporarily allow people who arrive to the United States with valid visas to remain in the country. The order is in response to President Donald Trump's executive order limiting entry. Mr. Trump directed temporarily bans refugees from entering the United States. Minister Theresa May says she does not agree with Mr. Trump's new curbs on immigration from 7 Muslim-majority countries. She initially said Washington was responsible for its policy on refugees, but after criticism from her own party, later issued a stronger statement condemning the policy. ABC News.
Welcome to Speaking Out.
Discussing land rights and economic
Aboriginal enterprises in mining, exploration, energy.
What about digital constitutional recognition?
With Larissa Barrett. Fresh. On ABC Radio.
The key problem is that they have used a dragnet approach, countering attack from the country's poorest and the City of Sydney, a cultural canvas.
As a director, my cultural canvas is the audience that comes to see a show.
Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready.
Please give it up.
This is Rihanna.
Rihanna Patrick.
ABC Radio.
Yes, I guess the continuity of some of the bad news in 2016. The German Chancellor Angela Merkel has condemned President Trump's ban on refugees as travellers from Muslim countries. At first, since the inauguration, no mention of the refugee ban was made in the official summary, but a spokesman, Stefan Seibert, said she was convinced that even the resolute fight against terrorism did not justify putting people of a particular origin or faith under general suspicion.
Hello. Hello. My father always wore a vest. He wore trousers and a vest and a coat. He made jeans as a hard-wearing material for the working man. So maybe working harder than the youth-time miners.
You know, it seems like
And he always wore a vest, a three-piece set with a vest.
he sounds like he was dressed well.
He was always dressed very well, my dad.
And now people are starting to dress like that again, but we call them hipsters. People trying
My first memory was discovering the ABC's shortwave service on 9610. It was VLW from Perth. I sent away and soon got this QSL card looking a lot like this. 2 or 3 years later, I discovered a program called Talkback on Radio Australia, all to do with shortwave listening, DXing and radio topics. That was a program I strived never to miss. Later on, I tuned in from various locations around Australia, normally when testing homebrew shortwave receivers.
Well, we've got hundreds of objects from all around the country. We've got shark jaws, shells, pieces of skylab, which is really cool.
So that's it. The end of Radio Australia and ABC domestic services on shortwave. Now, if you tune to those frequencies, this is all you'll hear.